Welcome back, everyone. Talking about impaired driving and the dangers it causes today. We have Sergeant Shawn Cook from the Lima Highway Patrol. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
You made me happy. You're a Crestview graduate.
Yes, I am.
Cool. I'm a Crestview graduate myself. Well, let's talk about impaired driving. You know, I immediately, when I think impaired driving, I think alcohol, but there's probably more to it than that can impair driving, right?
Absolutely. Of course, we are concerned about people who are drinking alcohol and driving a car and being impaired, but we're also concerned about people who use illegal drugs or even prescription pills and take too much of those things and drive a car. They're just as dangerous, and they have the potential to cause just as much harm as someone who's drinking alcohol.
Yeah, and you think about that, the potential injury they can cause themselves, but everyone else on the highway as well, right?
Absolutely. Last year in 2014, Ohio experienced almost 8,000 crashes as a result of OVI, impaired driving, and those crashes include things more than just alcohol. Again, they're drugs. Let's
walk us through, for someone, you have all these people who will drink and drive or take drugs, and they think, I'm going to be fine, everything's fine, I can do this. Talk about the physical effect it has on your motor skills and that kind of thing when you do this.
Absolutely, Jeff. Jeff, as soon as you consume alcohol, once the alcohol gets into your body, it begins to impair your body. It goes places into your body, into your muscles, and it can impair things such as your vision, the way that you operate a vehicle, how your coordination is. So absolutely, and we've all heard of buzz driving, and it's absolutely true. You can be impaired at a level under our per se level.
Yeah, let's talk about when you guys, I know you guys will do DUI checkpoints and that kind of thing. What are you looking for when you have folks come through?
When we have our folks come through the checkpoints, we have initial contact with the driver, and the officer who's at the checkpoint can quickly detect the odor of an alcoholic beverage. They can see things such as poor finger dexterity, meaning when the driver's looking for a driver's license in their wallet, perhaps they look over it a couple times, or they merely drop it on the floor.
Yeah, some of the video we shows people out, the things we traditionally think of, doing the breathalyzer or they're walking a straight line. Do you do those? Are those tests?
Absolutely, we still do those the same things that you may see on TV shows, on cop shows. We still do what's called the horizontal gaze nystagmus, where we check the involuntary jerking of the eyes, the walk and turn test, and also the one leg stand test.
Yeah, I know you won't say this, but watching the video for those kind of things and watching what people do is kind of entertaining at times, and you think, how dangerous is it? They can't even stand up and they're driving a 2-ton vehicle down the road. It's
Absolutely,
scary. Yeah.
It is. It can be very scary.
Let's talk about, you're a drug recognition expert. Tell me what that means first off.
Basically, a drug recognition expert, known as a DRE, is an officer who has received specialized training in detecting impaired drivers. And that can be things, again, more than just alcohol, specifically drugs that impair.
Yeah, and we've done ride-alongs with folks like yourselves, and others have gone through that training. It amazes me, the small things that you guys can pick up on, and 99% of the time you're right. Are there certain telltale signs when you're out there?
Absolutely. There's 7 major drug categories, and within those 7 drug categories, it affects your body differently. And I'll use an example of a narcotic analgesic, something like heroin. It can affect the tone of someone's voice. We call it a low, raspy voice, and that's something I can immediately detect as soon as I walk up to a car and begin a conversation. Sometimes that's the very first thing that I notice, is that low, raspy voice. It sounds like it's a cold.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and they teach you that through that training to look for those kind of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing to me to see that. When you have somebody that's maybe is impaired by drugs as opposed to alcohol, do you have to handle that as far as testing a little differently because certain things you're looking for?
The testing is pretty much the same. The officer still conducts the same standardized field sobriety test, the HDN, horizontal gaze nystagmus, the walk and turn, and the one leg stand test. Once that arrest has been made for OVI and the officer suspects that there's drugs other than alcohol, that officer can call a DRE, and at that time then I would offer more tests, additional tests, not only the HDN, walk and turn, and one leg stand, but I would take that person's blood pressure.
Sure.
Check their pulse rate, check their pupil sizes. So yeah, there's more things than just the standardized field sobriety test.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating, the things you guys. I'm so glad you guys are out there. You do a great job. Really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.